This is the Octopus Garden, the largest known gathering of octopuses on the planet. Here, thousands of creatures have come together in a single location, about 2 miles below the ocean surface. The garden stretches along the coast of Central California. Despite its name, humans didn't create this place. It's entirely natural. In 2018, researchers first discovered thousands of octopuses nesting on the deep ocean floor, shocking people worldwide. It took several years of thorough study to fully understand what was happening, as there were many questions to address. The octopuses in this garden were found in very unusual positions. They were upside down, with their limbs twisted around their bodies, almost as if they had been turned inside out. Scientists have documented 5,718 octopuses covering an area of 6 acres at the heart of the garden. Estimates suggest that the total population in the 820-acre area could easily exceed 20,000 individuals. It turns out that these deep-sea octopuses, from the species Octopus robustus, migrate to this garden to mate and nest. In other words, they come here solely to continue their lineage. They don't engage in any other activities. It all starts when both male and female octopuses arrive at the garden. Females search for a warm spot to lay their clutch of around 60 elongated, sausage-shaped eggs. Brooding mothers cover the eggs with their bodies, protecting them from potential predators. This is why the females contort themselves in such a peculiar manner. It's a defensive posture. During the incubation period, females sustain themselves using their own bodily reserves while tending to the developing eggs. But it's important to highlight that the octopus garden discovered in California is the largest known aggregation of octopuses ever found by scientists. In fact, there are other similar sites, often referred to as nurseries because octopuses come there to breed. Another such nursery was found off the coast of Costa Rica. However, the discovery in California astonished researchers, not only because of the sheer number of octopuses, but also because these creatures are usually solitary and prefer cooler waters. What they observed didn't align with what was previously known. The octopuses were nesting on a hydrothermal vent. The heat from the vent accelerates egg development. Essentially, the colder the water, the slower the embryos grow. Scientists studying the site had expected the octopus eggs to hatch in about 5 to 8 years, given the frigid conditions at that depth. But to their surprise, the hatchlings emerged in under 2 years. The warmth from the thermal vents increased the metabolic rates of both the mother octopuses and their developing young, significantly reducing the incubation period. A typical 5 to 8 year incubation would pose too many risks to the offspring. The journey from egg to octopus is fraught with challenges. Large octopus gatherings like this garden tend to attract predators. Living alongside the nesting females is a diverse range of invertebrates that eagerly prey on unhatched eggs and vulnerable hatchlings, especially in an environment where food is scarce. In addition, there is the constant threat of injury and infection. In short, it's difficult to survive as a young octopus in the deep sea. A mother octopus has only a limited time to protect her eggs, as her body's energy reserves are depleting. The longer the incubation period, the greater the risk that the mother will not survive. The shorter the period, the better the chance for her offspring, and the longer she can guard them. Female octopuses don't eat at all during this period, relying solely on the energy reserves they've built up before entering their maternal phase. Meanwhile, other invertebrates linger, awaiting the end of the incubation process. In this video, for instance, you can see a sea anemone consuming a dead octopus. The wait paid off. The self-destruction of female octopuses, regardless of their species or habitat, is a subject that deeply intrigues scientists. While many animal species die after reproducing, the behavior of octopus mothers stands out due to its disturbing nature. Not only do they stop eating, but some actively attempt to end their own lives once they've completed their reproductive duties. These females may smash themselves against rocks, tear at their own skin, or even eat parts of their own tentacles. It appears to be utter madness. Researchers have now identified chemicals that seem to govern this behavior. After an octopus lays her eggs, certain changes occur within her body. The production of steroid hormones increases, and a biochemical shift seals her fate. But that's a topic for another video. Let's return to the garden. A time-lapse camera captured nesting females pushing away octopus carcasses to prevent scavengers from getting too close to their eggs. Despite having plenty to eat, scavengers are always searching for more, especially in the deep sea, where food is scarce. Opportunistic feeders such as giant grenadiers, cusk eels, whelks, and sea anemones feast on the remains of dead octopuses. They thrive in the garden, which provides 72% more food than the surrounding waters. These scavengers, fish, shrimp, sea stars, and snails, sustain a flourishing ecosystem built on deceased octopuses. In contrast, similar rocky underwater areas host fewer species and a less dense population. As hatchlings emerge, they leave the garden to survive and grow elsewhere. The mother dies and is consumed by scavengers, and another female quickly replaces her. These octopuses choose crevices for their nests and cozy, warm spots, but there are only so many available. As intelligent as octopuses are, they're unlikely to care who died in that particular spot. Nature can be cruel. It has one goal: to ensure offspring are born, and everything else is irrelevant. The cycle begins anew. Until recently, scientists thought large gatherings of octopuses were rare and almost an exception to the rule. But now, octopus gardens are being discovered more frequently. They aren't always clustered together, yet this phenomenon appears more common than previously thought. To date, researchers have identified 5 deep-sea octopus nurseries, 2 off the coast of Central California, 2 near Costa Rica, and 1 near Vancouver Island in Canada. The first nursery was discovered in Costa Rica in 2013, a cluster of over 100 octopuses found in a hydrothermal spring about 100 miles off the Pacific coast at a depth of 10,000 feet. These octopuses also incubated eggs, but not a single clutch survived. The second nursery was the one near Davidson Seamount, which we mentioned earlier. Then, in 2019, another was found near the town of Sada, roughly 10 miles away. A significant journey for octopuses. Most recently, in 2023, scientists discovered a new nursery in Costa Rica, followed by one in Canada. Now let's take a closer look at the most recent nursery. It all started with methane bubbles rising from the ocean floor, which created carbonate rocks that eventually became homes for various animals, despite the cold temperatures. These areas are where Granellodon Pacific octopuses have chosen to raise their young. Interestingly, this deep-sea species holds the record for the longest incubation period. Females tend to their nests for an incredible 4.5 years. Other octopuses from earlier discoveries might have beaten this record, if not for the warmth provided by dormant underwater volcanoes. One of the biggest mysteries for scientists is how octopuses find these nurseries. Do they stumble upon potential nursery sites by chance and decide to settle there? Or do they remember the location and return when it's time to reproduce? How far octopuses migrate to reach these sites is still unknown. What we do know is that natural incubation without the aid of heat can take anywhere from 5 to 10 years, or even longer. So, the fact that the offspring in the octopus garden developed in just 2 years means they grew 5 times faster than normal. It's like human pregnancies lasting less than 2 months instead of 9. An astonishing feat. Some might wonder how scientists managed to study such a deep and remote part of the ocean for so long. Do they have some special equipment like a deep-sea version of a drone? Thanks to modern technology, researchers were able to set up cameras on the ocean floor, capturing images and identifying individual octopuses by their scars and unique traits. What they discovered is that all the octopuses in the garden were adult males and females ready to reproduce. Their numbers grew steadily, but there were no young octopuses until the new hatchlings emerged. Now, let's break down why the temperature in the octopus garden is higher, causing the baby octopuses to develop faster. As a reminder, this site is located about 2 miles below the ocean's surface, on a small hill near the base of the underwater Davidson Seamount. The mountain plays a critical role. It's a dormant underwater volcano, while the surrounding water is a chilly 35 degrees Fahrenheit. In the octopus garden, it's a different story. Here, the water temperature rises to a much warmer 52 degrees. When scientists first discovered the octopus garden, they noticed what they described as shimmering water, a telltale sign of warmer temperatures. This mixing of warm and cool waters suggests the presence of undiscovered thermal springs nearby. Further research has confirmed that octopus nests are located in crevices bathed by hydrothermal vents. In other words, female octopuses have strategically selected the warmest spots for incubating their eggs. So, how do hydrothermal vents work? The process is simple. Water seeps beneath the ocean floor, absorbs heat from the Earth's mantle, and emerges through volcanic rocks, like those near Davidson Seamount. Unlike typical hydrothermal vents that form along ridge crests and spew out hot water, making them easy to detect, these thermal springs are far more elusive. They release warm water that dissipates just a few feet above the seabed, making them difficult to locate. Only the faint shimmer of water reveals their presence, and the octopuses in the garden have hit the jackpot, with temperatures that are just right. Deeper below, there are extremely hot springs. If a female octopus were to lay her eggs there, they'd cook instantly, like hard-boiled eggs, if you will. On the other hand, colder waters dramatically slow down the octopus's development. As ectotherms, cold-blooded animals, octopuses rely on external temperatures to regulate their metabolism. Deep-sea cold water slows down their metabolic processes, which are essentially the chemical reactions inside their cells that help them grow, develop, and reproduce. A faster metabolism, fueled by warmth, means more energy is available for vital processes like nurturing eggs, which in turn shortens the incubation period. However, there are limits to this. You can't simply raise the temperature indefinitely, expecting octopuses to develop at lightning speed. According to research on the Octopus Maya species, if water temperatures exceed 80 degrees Fahrenheit, females stop laying eggs altogether, and any eggs already laid die within days. Like most cephalopods, the octopuses in the garden die after reproduction. The males perish immediately, while the females die after their offspring hatch. The abundance of dead animals in one spot turns the garden into a feast for scavengers, an endless buffet. Scavengers will never go hungry here. No female gets lucky enough to survive one breeding cycle and attempt another. Throughout the entire 2-year incubation period, females devote themselves fully to protecting their eggs. Interestingly, female octopuses may return to the same nesting grounds where they were born, much like salmon. They have an acute sense of smell, allowing them to trace the scent of deceased relatives, even if those remains have been devoured by predators like anemones. Given the significance of these sites, it seems clear they deserve protection. Davidson Seamount and its octopus garden are protected as part of the Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary. Climate change, fishing, and mining threaten these deep-sea areas, making it crucial to safeguard the unique environments where deep-sea animals gather to feed or reproduce. Effective protection requires a thorough understanding of the garden, and scientists are actively studying it because many fascinating aspects remain unexplored. Within the sanctuary boundaries, activities like searching for or extracting oil, gas, or other valuable minerals are strictly prohibited. Additionally, drilling, digging, and constructing buildings are banned. If a ship accidentally grounds in the area, it must not be abandoned. Anchoring and leaving the ship unattended is forbidden, as is leaving any harmful substances on board. Disposal of substances is prohibited, and interactions with local species. The introduction of non-native species, attracting great white sharks with motorboats, and flying too low over the water are also restricted. This list is not exhaustive, and it's advisable to avoid the area entirely to prevent accidental rule violations, as adherence to the regulations is taken very seriously. The sanctuary is monitored through land, air, and sea patrols. Rangers use both small boats and large patrol ships to protect the area, keeping a vigilant eye on all activities. Most violations occur in specific, localized areas and are often brief. However, some infractions, like hunting marine mammals or birds, are more common throughout the reserve. Violations can result in civil penalties of up to $140,000 per day. Offenders may also be required to pay for cleanup and restoration efforts, and any gear involved in the violation, such as boats or equipment, might be seized until legal proceedings are resolved. Breaking the rules in a wildlife reserve often means violating federal and state laws as well, which can lead to additional fines, property seizures, arrests, and even criminal charges. Interfering with law enforcement officers conducting investigations or activities within the reserve is also considered a criminal offense. That it's impressive how scientists tackle the challenges of studying octopuses. The power of science, right? If you haven't yet, remember to hit the like button before you go. See you later.